I went to sleep on the 29th of September 2023 with 998 subscribers, a figure that continued to climb overnight, straight through that magic 1,000 mark. When I checked in the morning, it had rested at 1,002. 1,000 is considered the first milestone in the world of YouTube, as it unlocks features and makes you eligible to apply for monetization, that holy grail. After a very quick application and approval, I sat there and watched as I earned my very first YouTube penny. It's time to celebrate then, but how? I initially didn't want to do a community race, as I've seen quite a few people do that. I thought long and hard, trying to think of something special. I threw around a few ideas in my head, but always circled back to a community race. Sheffield is amazing, it's one of the best team sport layouts, even if I am a little bit biased. I've heard it compared to Warrington though, so it's not just me. It must be a great place to host a race, even if for now we need to contend with some poor karts. On the 5th of December, I released a short video, my worst performing video in recent history, announcing the race, its date, where it would be, and how you could book yourselves on. I panicked for a short while as no bookings arrived, and I continued to watch the video performing poorly. I put a fair bit of money into organising this, and I couldn't let it be a flop. Ryan booked on the 6th. Phew! Slowly but surely, more and more bookings came in, until we ended up with a grid of 12 drivers. At least it should have been 12, we had one no-show for some unknown reason. We do have a variety of experiences, with one even visiting Sheffield for the very first time that afternoon. The format, of course, is an easy one, 15 minutes to qualify with your fastest possible lap time, before we then grid up for a 15-minute action-packed race. I was assigned kart 15. It's one I've not actually driven in a while, so I wasn't sure how it would perform. After the flag tests were completed, I was able to make a quick judgment. Whilst I wasn't inspired by it, it was certainly quicker than Alex's kart, who appeared to be struggling with a lack of pace. I leave him space to take the inside of turn 2, but I just pull a huge gap before the next corner. Lap 3 showed what this kart was capable of, with a sub 58-second lap. I go quicker still now though. That's the fastest I go in this qualifying session, with a 57.675. I'm rather pleased with that. I've now caught the back of Jonathan, whose first visit to Sheffield is this. He'd arrived early and had a practice, but it was a typical slow public session with plenty of red flags. He's waving through at turn 1 and gets a big thumbs up from me. As I catch the back of Connor, still learning the track too, he gets a bit of a slide and I'm able to nip up his inside. As I've glanced behind me, I've spotted Ryan. No, not the Ryan who should be on track with us, but Ryan, TeamSport staff Ryan, who has never actually appeared on camera driving a kart before, and he keeps reminding me. I back off my pace, hoping he might jump in front of me. He's moving karts from the lower pits to upstairs, as they had a rather busy family session out next and needed more adult karts there. He of course was unable to get past before the pit entry upstairs and wasn't really allowed to complete another lap with me. Rather than getting completely back on the pace, I decided to let Goose through for a little bit of fun. Always wave at the 360-degree camera. I actually had a moment of concern. His car is definitely faster in a straight line. He runs wide though on the exit of lower pits, and I draw a long side to pass before a drag race up the ramp ends with me taking the inside of the two left-handers. I have no idea what I was planning there. That just went very, very wrong very quickly. Goose had nowhere to go but into the back of me. I back off once again, trying to let a couple more karts through to have some fun. Here's Jonathan back through, closely followed by Jester. But there's no time for fun. That was the final time lap of the session. Daniel, driving the only kart released in front of me that I didn't pass, was able to go marginally quicker than me. Quite frankly, he won't be invited next time. So how does that set the grid? Daniel and I make up the front row with a 57.656 and 57.675 respectively. Goose is in third with a 58.219, Jester completing the second row with his 58.273. It's a good first visit for Jonathan, seeing him starting fifth from his 58.714, with Maverick alongside with his 59.078. Alec really did have a hard time with his car, only managing a 59.362. Ryan managed a 59.537 to take his 8th place. Chris, our youngest driver, will be starting from 9th, a 1 minute 0.127 for him. Hollywood Dean in 10th with a 1 minute 0.865. Starting at the back, we see Connor with a 1 minute 1.411. Of course, I wasn't the only driver wearing a GoPro though, and Ryan and Connor were both kind enough to send me everything they recorded. So now let's watch their laps. Here's Connor first for 10th place. And here's Ryan's best lap, good enough to get him 8th. Well, that's enough of qualifying though. How did the race go? Of course, I'm now in a different kart, it's number 17. As I try to pull out of the pits, I hear a backfire, the engine bogs down, and then it decides to go. Great. Launching this off the line is going to be hard. I test it a few times on the way to the grid, but I'm certain it'll bog down if I try to pull away normally. I'll have to do something different. After Damo took a quick picture of the grid for me, still not sure why my phone decided to flash was necessary, he set the lights to change, and we wait. At this point, I decided to do something you shouldn't do. Knowing this kart was going to backfire and bog if I went straight to full throttle, I reached over and held the throttle and faster idle with my hand. Please do not do this yourself. It's likely to result in a telling off, possibly even a penalty. The rule for TeamSport and most rental tracks is don't touch the engine. I had to do it by hand as I was unable to release the brake without the kart rolling. Pressing both pedals doesn't open the throttle due to the anti-double pedal mechanism on most rental karts. It's to prevent people burning out the clutches. The only way I could get a good start was with a little extra throttle from my hand. The lights go to green and I get a good reaction of just 0.2 seconds. The hand throttle worked and I pulled away smoothly. Daniel keeps his position into turn 1 and I'm able to get to the inside before Goose can get his kart there. Daniel's driving really well. He clearly knows where to place the kart to defend around here, and is faster in quite a few places. I get alongside, but not far enough. To be honest, I expected the door to be slammed shut. Daniel leaves it open, and I'm through up the inside into the lower pits complex. Despite his attempt to come back, I hold on to the position. I glance behind and see not Daniel, but Goose. It's a shame, but it seems 13 is being an unlucky kart for Daniel today. I haven't got time to rest though, and may be in the lead, but Goose is keeping up with me. 5 laps in, and after a good start, we unfortunately get our first red flag. I stop in a rather defensive position. So what caused it then? Well, it seems Chris has a very big slide through turn 1, allowing Ryan to draw up alongside him on the exit. Chris doesn't quite leave enough space and ends up getting spun round the front of Ryan's kart. This happens more often than you'd think. Let's jump to Connor's camera. He was a little further back, but as he makes his way out of turn 1, there is Chris, still facing the barrier. With Chris removed from the barrier, he's told to pull up next to Ryan. I'd have gone in front, personally. And we return to those yellow flags. Of course, my kart backfires, rather than pulling away nicely. As we start the next lap, the red flag reappears. I'm unsure of the cause of this one though.
Come on guys, we had a good run earlier.
Thankfully, it's a rather short one. The battle for third place is heating up, and we'll jump on board Jonathan's kart to find the cause of this red flag. That was a big hit. It's unclear from his camera if it was the car he'd just passed or someone else trying to get past Jester too. I think most likely the latter of those. Who wants to own up down in those comments? It caused quite a delay actually, this one, as I believe one of the karts needed to be swapped out. As we approach turn 2, we're told we've got time added, usually a sign that there was a mechanical issue as well. At the start of lap 10, we've got Hollywood Bean in front of us. He didn't exactly make it easy. I think there may have been a little bit of Team Top Gun teamwork going on there. There wasn't, of course. I just don't think he realised how quickly we caught up. I say we because Goose is still right behind me. Now we've caught on to the back of Chris. Having set his new PB with a sub 1 minute lap, he's settled his pace back down to slightly over. After holding me up a tiny bit through turn 1, he opens the space and lets me through before turn 2. It's another thumbs up. Goose kept that pressure on, but he wasn't able to ever really try a move. He did go quicker than me, but we'll come back to that in a moment. We'll jump back to staff Ryan for our podium, so I apologise for the audio here. So as we've seen then, I was able to hold off Goose for the win, but he did manage to set a slightly faster lap time than me. Jonathan recovered well from that crash and took the third step, not quite making it onto a 57-second lap. Daniel really had a horrid time with kart 13 and missed out on that podium finish after his stellar qualifying. Alec had a better car and was able to recover all the way up to 5th. Maverick and Jester followed him across the line. Ryan finished where he started after dropping back initially in 8th place, and Connor recovered up 2 positions to finish in 9th, with Chris and Hollywood Dean bringing in those last 2 places. I really want to say a huge thank you to everyone who came. It really did turn out to be a great evening. Despite the red flags, the race was even enjoyable too. It was great to meet even more new faces and of course some regular ones too. As always then, thank you to all of you for watching these videos. If you've enjoyed this one, please smash that like button below and leave any feedback in that comment section. I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off from releasing videos now. I'll still be casting regularly. I've already in fact recorded the next video, and I'll get a few more shortly too. I'll be back on the 19th of February with some new content for you. So until then, cheers.